This is the human heart. Central to our physical body, our survival, revered by poets throughout history as the emotional center of our being. The place we instinctively touch when asked to point to ourselves. And now, what we have known intuitively is being understood scientifically. Researchers are unlocking a new science of the heart that could change everything we know about health and our interconnected nature. Coherence is a state of balance between heart, mind, and emotions, creating a favorable cascade of neural, hormonal, and biochemical events that benefit the entire body. But this phenomenon not only benefits us personally, it affects everything around us, emitting an electromagnetic field that can be measured up to 3 feet outside of the body. When you are in coherence, your heart resonates at the same frequency as the Earth's magnetic field. This frequency positively affects everything around you. When a group of people are in coherence together, this effect is magnified. Could communities synchronized in coherence lower violence, accelerate cooperation, and global harmony? This is the purpose of the Global Coherence Pulse. If we can measure the impact of thousands of people in coherence at the same time, it could lead to a breakthrough in understanding the full potential of the human heart. All you need to participate is your presence and your heart. To take it to the next level, join the research study by downloading the app and getting an HRV monitor to measure your personal coherence. The world needs it more than ever before. Each human heart is unique and magnificent by itself. But imagine what could be possible when we unify.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this special Global Coherence Pulse. As you come on, please continue to share where you're calling in from on the planet. My heart's just kind of been bursting open as I've been just watching. We're in from the UK and Ireland and Poland and Louisiana, New Zealand, the Netherlands, Canada, all around the world. People are coming together to join their hearts and their care and compassion to help elevate the planetary field. So thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here and to join us in this special Pulse. This is our 47th Pulse event. And exactly 2 years ago, it was March 2020, is when we started the Global Coherence Pulse to bring the greater awareness of the power of coherence personally and collectively into the world and pulse the planet with our love and our care and our compassion to help shift the tide from a world fed by fear to a world led by love. And I believe it's occurring in waves all around the planet, and that the challenges that we're facing together now are accelerating this emergence. One of our Pulse teammates, Alekti Vaz, our web developer, has his home in Kiev, and he fled with others out of the city. And he shared something really powerful that's just stuck with me. And he shared about his journey to Poland, where he's landed. And he said that the sound of the love and compassion and care that he encountered along the way was louder than the bombs going off. I mean, just like really in the thick of it, the love and the care and the compassion that he was experiencing from everyone he met along the way. So the frequency of love is rising all around the world. And our collective coherence has an impact on the whole of life. And it benefits each of us in our capacity to choose love in the face of whatever we're facing. And when we're in it together, we have more, exponentially more capacity than we do alone. So I just want to start our pulse today by saying thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your day to add your heart to this special pulse. And during this session, we are going to be joining with the participants of the HeartMath Retreat in a global meditation to elevate the planetary field. And our guests, Sister Jenna and Dr. Ivy and Claudia Wells, will be guiding us in this sacred task. So I'd like to introduce them all now. So Kaylin, you can start to bring our ladies on the screen. Sister Jenna, it's so nice to have you with us today. And Sister Jenna is the founder of the Meditation Museum and host of the America Meditating radio show. She serves as one of the evolutionary leaders in service to conscious evolution and was selected by the Empower a Billion Women 2020 as one of 100 most influential leaders in 2015. She's just published a new book, Meditation, Intimate Experiences with the Divine Through Contemplative Practices. She is a trusted spiritual mentor, and she bridges all kinds of relationships with global influencers. And I have just recently met you, Sister Jenna, and have really felt the impact of your love and presence. It's a transmission from your heart that I feel every time I see you. So thank you. Thank you for joining us today. And we also have, as our musical guest today, we have Dr. Ivy, or Sade. Sade is her new Shadia, her new spiritual name. I love it. Is an internationally known classical sacred performance artist, holistic psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, aromatherapist, professional development trainer, natural restorative justice trainer, recording artist, author, and mindfulness instructor with over 40 years of service to humanity. And again, Dr. Ivy, you somebody I've met recently, and your transmission of your love through your voice just touches me so deeply. So thank you for saying yes to joining on this session today. I'm really excited to in anticipation of the depth I know that we'll all reach together and pulse the planet with. And finally, Claudia Wells, who I'm so happy to have join us today. She is one of the co-founders of the Global Coherence Pulse. She's the chairman of the Institute of Noetic Sciences, and she's a founding steering committee member of the Global Coherence Initiative, which we'll hear a little bit more about today too, and recently joined the board of directors for Space for Humanity. She's a busy girl. And as a citizen scientist, she really brings the power and potency and importance of coherence into all of the initiatives and the community she serves. Claudia, so nice to have you back on again. We've missed you. We love you. And I'd like to have us, before we go into our session today, to just take a moment of silence where we can just drop into our hearts. I know I love to feel the bottom of my feet, so I get right out of my head and right here, right where I'm on the planet. The quality of our presence and participation in moments like this is the gift that we give to each other and to the whole of life. Yes. So Claudia, let's start with you. Share a little bit about our connection with the HeartMath Retreat and some exciting things about the new app.
Thank you, Teresa. That was beautiful. And it really is good to be back with you. And thank you all for joining the Pulse today. I would like to give a special welcome to any members of the Institute of Noetic Sciences community that may be joining us. IONS is a research institute working to bridge the divide between science and spirituality. And we had a global gathering on Wednesday to reflect on the practicality of shifting collective consciousness against a backdrop of war. And we invited everyone that was there to be here now. And thank you to those of you who are. I'd also like to dedicate this pulse to those of us most affected right now by the dynamic tension that's playing out between an old consciousness and the emerging one. I'd like to open by quoting Yuval Noah Harari, who is the author of Sapiens and who said in a recent interview, "As a historian, I feel ashamed of what the knowledge of history is doing to people. We suffer from too much history. We should be liberated from the past, not constantly repeating it again and again. Everyone should free themselves from the memories of war. We need to let go of the past and be in the present." I wish he didn't feel shame, but he makes it very clear that the way we destroy to create is very old, a memory of an incoherent past that we keep reliving. It's time to create from a memory of our innate coherence, and that's why we're here. For those of you joining us for the first time, the Pulse is an open social collaboration and citizen science initiative to pulse the planet with the heart coherent energies of love and compassion, care and appreciation, that's supported by a network of communities aligned with the intention of realigning humanity with nature's intelligence through the powerful intelligence of our own hearts. Group meditations are nothing new, of course, and thankfully there are more and more rising up in the world now in response to our many crises. What is new is the growing scientific understanding of how the coherence within us becomes the coherence around us, and how we strengthen the field of planetary healing with our own wholeness. Crisis is an evolutionary driver, and here may be why evolution is pushing us to this collective edge. We're being driven to finally realize the agency of our own hearts, of our own inner authority, in resetting our own lives and our collective reality at the same time. And as citizen scientists, we're also providing input to help science demonstrate that the current materialist, reductionist scientific paradigm that's based in a belief in fundamental separation, that says I'm separate from you and we're separate from nature and the rest of life, is incomplete at best. So we're here because, like you, we believe that the greatest contribution we can each make to this massive global change moment that we're in, no matter what else we may be able to do or not do, is through the coherent energy of our own hearts. And we're committed to helping create an energetic tipping point in global consciousness where the love of power is eclipsed by the power of love, and then keep turning up that power. In that spirit, today's Pulse meditation with Sister Jenna, as Teresa said, is being synchronized with the collective compassion meditation that the Global Coherence Initiative community will be doing during our online Global Coherence event this weekend, which we're calling the Rise of Collective Compassion, a heart-centered approach to creating a more coherent world. And so they'll be joining us on the GCI app, where we will have the opportunity for the first time ever to measure our own and our group's coherence contribution, whether we have an HRV sensor or not. Because GCI has developed a way for our phone cameras to be used to measure our heart coherence. And if anyone remembers the earlier iteration that HeartMath developed for the Huffington Post app called GPS for the Soul, this is used in the same way, but it's much better because of recent advances in camera technology, which is really exciting. And we sent instructions, Teresa sent instructions out to everyone ahead of time, but if you haven't had a chance to download the app, you might want to do that now before we go into the meditation with Sister Jenna, so you can join us there. and I'll just keep talking for a few minutes while you do that. If you already downloaded the app, please just go to the global group. And to try the new camera sensor, I'll just remind you, you want to place your finger over the camera lens and hold your hand steady. Apply a light pressure with your finger while avoiding placing your finger directly on the flash. And the flash is going to turn on and off automatically at the beginning and end of each session. Unfortunately, we also want to let you know that a small number of Android users won't be able to use this feature, and we do apologize for that. But the rest of us, for a limited time, can continue to use our cameras as coherent sensors for our individual, private, and public group sessions. And in return, we say thank you in advance for completing the short survey that will pop up in the app. And also, please watch for a follow-up survey in your email, because your feedback on the camera sensor will be critical for optimizing its ongoing use. So while GCI has been focusing on building the science and technology of global coherence, the Pulse has been building community to elevate the planetary field environment so that the scientists at GCI and the Global Consciousness Project, which is a collaboration with the Institute of Noetic Sciences, can look for evidence of correlations between our pulses and the global sensor network data, including the random number generators, our magnetometers, and the developing tree sensors, and hopefully soon to include social metrics. These correlations between the measurable coherence that we are generating and changes in the sensor network data will help science demonstrate that our coherence impacts the physical world and influences the health of social and planetary systems. In other words, we'll be scientifically demonstrating that our heart coherence, yours and mine, not only inspire new action in the world, but the coherent energy of our hearts themselves has measurable and real world impact. But changing the scientific paradigm is not the main reason we're doing this. We're doing this to create a critical mass of coherence that's capable of elevating the complex system that is our world out of the old consciousness and into a new one that's based on a recognition of our essential oneness. The physical chemist Ilya Prigogine, who we often mention on this program, demonstrated the power of small islands of coherence to shift a system that's far from equilibrium in a lab. We want to demonstrate it in the real world. We want to leave behind the incoherence within humanity that keeps the worst of human history endlessly repeating itself. Ukrainian President Zelensky said a couple of days ago that being the leader of the world means being the leader of peace. He was talking to the United States Congress when he said that, but it won't be one governing body or one country that leads peace. It's going to be all of us. The new Buddha is the Sangha. And now I'd love to invite Sister Jenna to come on and lead our Pulse. And it's an honor to have you on the Pulse, Sister Jenna, with us.
It's actually my honor to have you with us, because I remembered when we met, I think a few years ago, and I was tickled to see you again. Hello, everybody. Welcome. What a fascinating time we're in. Huh, Claudia and everyone? It's beyond words in some sense. But I think before we go into our next hour or so together, my feeling is we're going to be okay. I think I want to start us off with that. We're going to be okay. And as we get to that point, there are a lot of things we might have to do, whether it's coming together and meditating at the same time, whether it's looking at a loved one who we've had challenges with for a long time and simply deciding that it's enough. I need to see the divinity that's inside of you because it's also in me. Maybe it's looking at our world leaders and recognizing that they need to feel the vibration of compassion. It's never an easy task to take care of a city, a state, a country, or even a world. And sometimes we just don't show up with all the right ingredients. So I'd like to invite us, as I put on this video, which is entitled Man Manabhav. And the reason why I thought it was really essential for us to come together as a collective in the energy of the light, in the energy of the divinity of the light, just dropping into the soul. As we go into this moment, I'd like you to imagine, what if the divine would whisper into your consciousness this message that basically will tell you you're going to be okay, but I need you to know that I'm here to help you to break your attachments to illusions. What if that's really the only problem in the world? And it's not about this person or that person or that religion or that country or that politics. What if the ache of the soul is I'm too attached to illusions? And what if I broke it and I decided to let it go? Would there be peace? Let's take a moment. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to accept the energy of the divine for you as we go into our global coherence. Just inviting you to hold the silence a little longer. Can the truth be only a thought away? And can we recognize the power in our connection to Source? That it can change everything in a second. can change everything in one thought. Like Claudia was sharing in her readings that we're supposed to have learned from history by now, and yet we're still encountering things that happened 2,000 years ago. What's the missing link? We've seen things that are just not working, but yet it's as if the soul is compelled to still invest in an energy and a currency that brings us into chaos. And one of the things that I've been throwing out with my friends and in conversations is, what's your currency of peace inside of you? How valuable is your currency of peace for you, just for you? Let alone trying to share your currency with the world. How much do you have for you? And how much do you have in you that can be spread and shared just naturally from your own presence? I ask I ask that question to myself quite regularly. And I know we want the world to be a better place. I know that with all of my heart. We want our children to invest in a world that functions with dignity and humility and kindness and strength and wisdom and bravery and power. And it will happen. But what's your currency of peace like today? Is it high? Do you need to reinvest more in your currency of peace for yourself? We've gathered now together, you, me, and all of us from around the world, because we care about the well-being of not only our personal lives and the family members in our life, but also our global family. And there are many of us who can't bear the sight of suffering. And there are times I've asked myself, can I help another person if I'm not liberated from my own personal trauma? I've asked myself this question, that what is it that I have to even do to get rid of my own personal traumas that I've gone through or I am enduring? And it's all on a soul level. Maybe in this lifetime of mine, I've not had anything traumatic happen to me, but do I have to have something traumatic happen to me to recognize I need healing? Meditation, Maderi, means to heal. We're looking at a soul aspect here. That there must be something still in the soul that we're in need of that says, I need your attention. I need your wisdom. I need your kindness. I need your silence. Science is proving that your thoughts make a difference. Science has proven that your thoughts create a vibration in an atmosphere. If I have a thought of compassion and peace, it will impact the atmosphere and even my relationships. If I have a thought of anger or fear about you, science has proven it will create that in the atmosphere. So when we look around the world and we see families, friends, cities, states, countries in conflict with themselves, in conflict with themselves, it's a sign. We need to first find a way in how we heal our own hearts, how we heal our own narratives. When I look at sorrow and I begin to pick up the vibration of that sorrow, I found that for myself, it's hard for me to help at that moment. And I've asked, what can I do to be able to bypass the sorrow that I'm seeing, picking up, and feeling? And one few things that have come to my mind, and I hope they'll help you the way they've helped me. And I've been learning it more and more as I grow and mature on my journey of life. But I've accepted that I think we're all here specifically to play a part. And when I look at somebody playing out the part of, I'm saying this gently, Claudia will like it, I'm playing it gently. But if they're playing the part of a villain, I sometimes have to step back and say, but it has to be that soul's part to do what they're doing. It makes no sense that he or she would make such a decision in the world when things are changing. Why would that soul make that decision? It's almost as if they're compelled to play that part. And like a movie, each actor comes into the set with a specific role to play. And I am so convinced now, more than ever, there are some souls that have a specific part to play. And I don't know where my part comes from, but my part is the part of the healer, the one who uplifts, the one who inspires, the one who brings you out of darkness. And I appreciate that role, but I also appreciate the villain, you know. Because if it wasn't for the villain in the script, we wouldn't be initiating such programs like a Global Coherence, such programs like joining HeartMath's retreat with thousands of people. Such acts we wouldn't be doing if that villain wasn't playing an impactful part. Do you see how the script seems like it's making sense? It's like it all had to happen. So what I'd like to do as we continue with our narrative, and as we look at this specific moment in time that we've gathered together globally with the intent that I want my life to help the lives of others. I want my presence to be truthfully a presence of service. And I want to trust that my pure thoughts will change the atmosphere in the world. My dear friend, who I've known for many years, Dr. Ivy Hylton, who we call Shadia, comes with the gift of a voice and a sound that will transport you into another atmosphere of yourself. And oh boy, how I wish her sound would touch the hearts of leaders around the world. I'm sure they would change. And so, what I'd like to invite her to do is to move us into sound, music, song, a moment in time. Transport us into an atmosphere where the light within the soul can connect the light of the Supreme Soul, and let us spread the vibration of our currency of peace far and wide to wherever it needs to go and to touch whomever it needs to touch. But this is the call of our time. An individual accountability and individual responsibility, knowing that it has a connection to the whole. Shadia, I'd love for you to join me now. And before we go into another meditation together, take us into your sound spa, your healing mode of sound, and take us into that space that we can remember how important it is to be connected to Source, connected to ourselves, and to get addicted to being elevated. What a beautiful addiction to have. Shadia, welcome.
Thank you so much, Sister Jenna. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity, and I am thankful for this opportunity to share the light with sound frequencies and vibrations of love. Join me as you breathe deeply. Light is an ancient wisdom of understanding the divine. Light conquers darkness and brings order. Light wisdom, wisdom flows through the light. I am 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 light. Gently close your eyes. Slowly gently place your hands on your lap. Bring your awareness into your inner mind. Feel the pure light filling your amazing mind. Filling you with peace of mind. Now is time to feel the light in your soul. you sink down, 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 down into the experience. Omnipresence of pure light, truth and understanding, holiness heals. Om Shanti.
As we continue to allow those vibrations to ripple through our consciousness, can I invite everyone to just stay? Just stay here. And begin to raise your awareness, amplify your understanding and belief and trust in the power of silence. That in the silence comes the healing of those deep layers of experiences from the past. That only your silent connection with the divine can access that part of you, the deep part within the soul, the part of you that struggles to find the words to express what you're really going through. The part of you that struggles with accepting the part that people are playing in your life and in the world around you. Settle into the stillness within. The silence within you. The silence that has an intimate and real time experience with the divine. I'm pretty sure you're feeling the pulsation of everyone's collective inner sacred silence flowing through you. In so many ways, we know we've heard so many words in time. We've heard so much. Is the ability to stay still inside and to connect to the divine the missing piece. The more silent I become inside, the greater my currency of peace expands and amplifies. Touching souls that are immediately connected to me, but even souls far beyond physically where I am, can connect to the vibration of my thoughts. It's time that we stop running from silence, but instead let's run into the silence and settle with trust. Feel the amplification emerging inside of you right now. And allow whatever needs to change and shift inside of your consciousness to just do so because of silence. The deepest silence we can have is when the soul connects to the divine intimately and for all the right reasons. To simply remember your currency of love and peace. That's why I connect to the divine. Connect to the divine because it's time for my life to have such a greater purpose than just to eat and sleep. But there's a reason why the soul has entered a body to play a part. And our parts right now is to collectively connect from a deep place of spiritual experience and truths. Allowing the vibrations to spread far and wide. This is the cure. Your spirit, your soul, your being has the capacity to transform an environment. It even has the capacity to inspire another human being to find the strength within themselves and the courage to change. Take a deep breath in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in again and breathe out. Trust in the silence. The silence is when the soul establishes its intimate link to the divine. And between these two souls, there's a spiritual contract. And no one can interfere, it's yours. And from that place of sacred silence, the world will become a golden aged space to live in. And that's why at the beginning, I promise you, we're all going to be okay. The journey towards that will have various scenes, various souls playing out their parts. Some will be the hero, and some will be a little bit naughty, and they will do what they want to do. But we must record inside of the heart. We're going to be okay. But here's the work that I have to do. So take a breath in again and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. In so many traditions, there's a way of saying hello. And it intrigues me that so many religious institutions or cultures have a greeting of peace with each other. Have you noticed that? Teresa, haven't you seen that? There is shalom, there is salam alaikum, there is shanti, om, shanti. And of course, with us in the West here in good old Washington, hey, what's up? You good? But there's a sense, there's a feeling that I want to greet you at my highest level. I want to greet you in a state of how I would, Om Shanti, I am peace.
Om Shanti. Let's keep this deep connection with the divine and the silence for a few moments together, and then ask Dr. Ivy to bring some music forward so that as she's doing that, let's pulse the planetary field from the inside out with our love and care and compassion. So let's just stay in the silence just for a few more minutes. And then Dr. Ivy, you can take us as we pulse the field with your music and with our love.
Pour peace into my soul. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Dearly Bolo. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Yamasi Yamataka. Undira Nefikwan. Undira Nefikwan is Shumasa. Hasa. May peace dwell in your soul. Shanti. 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 Om Shanti.
And we feel these waves of love rippling out from the center of our own heart and our connection with the divine to all the places around the world who are in need of this love right now. We can trust it knows exactly where to go. From this seat of silence, your environment is enriched with the quality of your presence and love. And let us now bring the synergy of our love, this collective love and compassion, and bring it into the center of our own heart to continue to nourish us and support us, to sustain our connection with the divine, with the silence within. As we face whatever we face. on our journey home. Thank you, Sister Jenna. Thank you. Thank you for your beautiful transmission of presence and divine connection. Thank you, Shadia, for your love and blessings.
Mhm.
Thank you, everyone who's on the call with us today. Is really, you can feel the quality of our openness and our presence, and it has an impact. Sister Jenna, I want to give you some time to share a little bit more and really help us to take this into our life every day so that we can keep nourishing ourselves in the field with this divine presence. So I hand it back over to you, my dear.
I was just about to say that this intimacy with Source, and it's not to say that 7.5 billion of us aren't having a connection with the Source, but I think as well, we might need to make it a little bit more consistent. And if we can develop a consistent link to the divine and bring the energy of that intimacy of the divine into our everyday life, and not only make the connection when there's something dramatic happening, but more so to develop a relationship with the divine. And the way that I've been able to facilitate my own relationship has been with a very simple understanding. It's like, I know that I have never been to the sun, but I know the sun is hot. Yeah, I don't have to land there to figure out if it's hot, or I can debate with science and try to prove to them it's not really that hot until I get there. And we've been given this idea that when the soul leaves the body, it goes back to the divine, and that's the only time I'll have a connection to God. Don't believe it. At least for me, I don't. But what if the era we're in is an awakening of the soul's intimate longing to have an alive experience with the divine, so that the energy of the soul can feed from the energy of the divine and fill those empty spaces and those voids that are inside of us that has been replaced by anger, lust, greed, attachment, ego. The algena, I talk about it a lot, the acronym that I use for anger, lust, greed, attachment, and ego. The algae, what if my intimate link with the Supreme, who I call Baba, because it humbles me, what if I replace the algae with the experiences that I can receive through my connection with Source? And that connection will just delete all algae. What makes us get angry? There's something in the soul that's not contented, and it's frustrating. And at that moment, I'm not in my spiritual power, so I use the shortcut. Let me yell as loud as I can so you will hear what I want. I'm not necessarily caring about you, but I want you to hear what I have to say so you can follow what I want and you do what I want. See, it's a soul ache, Teresa and everyone. We're going through a soul crisis, a soul opportunity, a soul ache. We're going through a particular period in time where there's a confluence that's taking place between an old interpretation of your being towards the original and eternal and the new understanding of who you've always actually been before you forgot. So the connection, the intimate link between the soul and the divine is the call of this Global Coherence Pulse session that we're having together. You know, when I go to bed, the last soul I talk to is Baba. I'll sit inside of my mind and I'll talk to my mind and connect to Source and say, did I do anything wrong today? Did I think anything wrong? And when you're speaking from that deep place of truth, you can't lie to yourself, especially when you're in front of the energy of the divine. You can't lie and tell Baba that you were good when you know you were naughty. So every night before you turn inwards to the divine. No TV, no radio, no nothing, no spouses, no partners, no pets. Just you and the divine, you and Baba. Check in. How was I today? Could I have done something better? Could I have thought better today? Could I have brought you more into the decision that I made 6 hours ago by saying what I said to somebody that I loved so dearly? It didn't come out right for some reason. Could I have watched the news and accepted that what I'm watching are souls playing out their part? And the question is, what can I do to be of service? I can send my well wishes. You must trust in this. If you can't trust in the power of your pure thoughts, and what will you ever believe in? This global coherence, this invitation now to turn your attention inwards and make this connection to Source, it couldn't come at a more compelling time. A global pandemic didn't completely change us. It woke some of us up. It put some of us to sleep who was woke. It totally made some folks sleep and say, I don't want to get up because what I see, I don't want to see. So there's something else. When you look at an adult, try this practice that I offer sometimes. Look at them as if they were a 6-month-old baby. For some reason, you can't connect to their algae. If you look at them as a 6-month-old baby, it's almost impossible. And in some sense, when you do that, something in you softens too. Another step. If you're going through a situation that you think is bigger than you, pump yourself up like a big inflatable sense of yourself, and just look at the situation from a bigger perspective and say, I'm bigger than this situation that I'm going through. I can't waste too much of my time here anymore. It's a second step. A third step, never underestimate the power of your good wishes and pure feelings, especially to who you think is your enemy. Because it's your good wishes and pure feelings that will make them into your friend. And I know at those times it feels so hard to have good wishes for someone who's trying to destroy your life. But that's the time you have good wishes and pure feelings. So it will protect your life. Life is interesting, isn't it? We're interesting. And so it's our time. It's our time for our awakening.
Sister Jenna, I think I'll bring Ivy and Claudia on the spotlight. Claudia, maybe you can turn on your camera. I think you're so right. There's this need for us to cultivate our capacity for sustained connection with the divine, sustained coherence in the face of what we're facing, and coming on pulses like this and other meditations and having a good practice. Those all help us in that cultivation process. And Claudia and Dr. Ivy, I thought I would open up for just if you had a few reflections that you wanted to make on our time today, or something you'd like to offer up to the community and in support of that sustained cultivation.
If I may, I am so filled right now. And I believe that what Sister Jenna was saying about the pouring of good wishes is so critical to the time that we're living in right now. And what I am doing is sharing what I've called the 40-day frequency of love challenge. So that for the next 40 days, whenever something does come up within you that brings more than something that is of the light and is expressing love, to remove that with the coherence of a pulsation of love. And if you miss it, you have to start all over again. So it's the 40-day frequency of love challenge, because when it comes into the body, into the soul, we want you to breathe it out with the frequency of love, and then take this tone with you. And allow that thought to flow on the wings of the tone of high vibrational frequencies. This is what we need to shift the universal energy. Sister Jenna is so on it. Healing begins in the mind, and our thoughts are things. So let's create that frequency of love 40 days straight. Replace any thought, feeling, or emotion that is less than love with the breath of love.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Dr. Ivy. Beautiful. Claudia, it's so nice to have you on the session again today. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so glad that I returned on this particular one. This has got to be my favorite, dare I say.
Mine too.
I'm just in love with the three of you. And the emphasis on silence really makes me not want to speak. But I'm going to anyway, just quickly. I want to quote Rumi, who said, "Speech is a river, silence the ocean." I'm going to come from the river for just a short time to say, developing a relationship with the divine, for me, is developing a relationship with coherence, because we are talking about developing that coherence within ourselves that connects us to everything else, to nature and to the divine. And those of you who know the Institute of Noetic Sciences know that our founder was an Apollo 14 astronaut and had an epiphany in space that gave him the direct experience that love is the organizing principle of the entire universe. And it's that love, the love that is the source of our human love, that the Global Coherence Pulse and initiative are looking to develop a consistent relationship with. And your articulation, Sister Jenna, so beautiful. You radiated so much peace. And I'm going to say Dr. Ivy because I don't, is it Shadia? Shadia,
Cynthia.
your frequency, so beautiful, so perfect for what we are wanting to embody together, as is yours, Teresa. Thank you for your beautiful stewardship of this labor of love that we've brought to the world. Thank you all.
Yeah, beautiful. I want to invite everybody to stay because we're going to spend a few minutes with some announcements. So how you can connect in with Sister Jenna and Shadea and Claudia and the app and some other things. And then at the end, Shadea has offered a little gift for us, which is a beautiful video that she's just created. She'll tell you about that before we do, and that will take us into our closing. So, Sister Jenna, before I do the announcements, do you want to add anything? And you'll be able to talk about your book and stuff, but it was such a beautiful transmission. Again, the quality of your presence is, louder than the words that you're speaking. It's really emanating from you. And I think that's what we're all really kind of striving for, is where we can just relax and allow the quality of our natural state of coherence to shine through. And I really feel that in all three of you. And thank you so much.
Thank you. All I can say to everyone is pay attention to your thoughts. As Shadia said, your thoughts become words or actions. And if you can value your currency of thinking, then you won't waste it. So if you use every thought in a worthwhile way, then everything will work out fine.
Yeah. I could really feel it during the meditation that, elevating the planetary field, bringing peace on earth starts from the inside out. It's like that's just coming into that place. As you had us in the silence, everything was changing because of the quality of our presence and connection with divine. Nothing else was needed. It's like an instant change in state. So thank you. All right, well, let's do some announcements, and Ian will help by putting some links in the chat for us. We also, on the Global Coherence Pulse, when we put the recordings, we also put links to everyone. So all the links that we're putting in the chat will be there for you so that you have them going forward. So I first wanted to say happy spring equinox. It's tomorrow, and such a potent time for us to even have this pulse today, because we're like putting that energy right into this burst of spring. And this is the time to plant seeds of love into this incredible garden we call home. It's going to really be a changing time. So let's celebrate this spring equinox by having these seeds of love and our intentions for a new time. So, Sister Jenna, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about that you have to offer people if they want to connect with you. And I thought we would start with your book, and I have the little video here, so maybe we'll play that, and then you can say something about it.
Meditation. Intimate experiences with the divine through contemplative practices. My new book that is out on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and you can get it from Sacred Stories Publishing or on America Meditating Radio. The quieter you become, the more you're able to hear. One of my opening pages of this book. I've heard time and time again that when you go into the stories and the narratives of the 37 authors that are sharing with you their mystical experiences of the divine, something in you changes. It has already reached number 1 3 times in mysticism category and in New Age category for new releases. I want you to get a copy for yourself and tell me what you feel as a result of closing that final page of this book. Meditation. Intimate experiences with the divine through contemplative practices. It's calling you. Can you hear it?
I just ordered mine a few days ago. I was hoping it would come in time for today. I'm so looking forward to it. I've listened to a few of the stories, Sister Jenna, that you have in this book that are just incredible over and over again. And there's some links in the chat of where we can order that book. But do you want to say something about the book or the writing of it? These stories are incredible.
Just get a copy.
Yeah, beautiful.
Because it just, every story reminds you of your own awakening,
Yeah.
but that you might have pushed it in a closet somewhere and got yourself busy in doing the mundane and forgot that your awakening wants your attention. And so I think this big book is going to make the reader return to their awakening and the answering of their call. That's how powerful it is.
Mm. I think the stories too, they help us to remember our own stories and to share our stories with each other, which helps us to, be authentic and support each
Yeah.
other in the journey. Yeah, so thank you for that. I'm looking forward to reading it. And you also have the America Meditating radio show and the Next Normal. Do you want to say anything about that? This sounds like we can be with you on a regular basis.
Of course, I think if you go to the americameditating.org, it'll update you on some of the things that we do regularly. My radio show is really important in sharing stories that can inspire people, and our evening programs and talk shows that we do on Wednesday nights on our website or on YouTube. They definitely are changing lives around the world. Just more than anything else, look, we're all here in this panel. We're all here to help our lives to be better. And in that, share it with you so that you are better and you go out and help lives of other people. And those people become better and they get strong and then they go to help because eventually it's all going to be okay. That's my mantra. It just has to be.
I love that. It's all gonna, I feel that too. I have this cellular certainty that it's all gonna be okay. Yeah. And Dr. Ivy, you have a beautiful sonic meditations. Do you want to share a little bit? People can visit your website. And there's so much there. I went there last night. Oh my gosh, it's a rich treasure trove.
Well, everybody keeps saying, oh, you only need 3 or 4 words on a website, but I'm an old school. So I love to give information. I love to create a journey. So when you go into the website, you experience a journey of various tools for healing. And I'm really, really happy to say that, first of all, let me just give some acknowledgement and recognition to my beloved sister, Dr. Jenna, because one day she sent me a text and it actually had drivysoundspa.com already started. She said, get started with this. So I want to thank you, Sister Jenna, for bringing it all from out of my soul into the world. And as a result of it, really, I've been doing sound vibronics now almost 40 years at a time when people did not quite understand the power of sound and understanding how it resonates and revivifies the cellular structure of the body. And so this frequency of love are a series of 5 sonic meditations with one introduction of how to use sound vibronics and a technique that I call sonic mind streaming. This is where you put your earbuds in and you are literally embracing the frequencies of 432 hertz that is really connected to the heartbeat of the earth. And this was my opportunity to share to the world an opportunity for us to do a cohesive coherence together with the pulsation of the frequency of love. So 5 meditations with crystal bowl and alchemy singing bowl vibrations. And I hope that everyone will download it on drivyShadia.bandcamp.com. You can go there right now and download it and stream it and start your personal and private sound spa.
I love that. Thank you so much for all
Thank
that you
you.
share. It's beautiful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. And as many people know, this new camera is a trial that's happening right now. And some people are writing in the chat, we don't need the app to resonate with each other. And yes, of course, right? We don't need the technology, but the technology is helping us to learn about the quality of our coherence. And so use it as a tool if you feel inspired. Use it when we come on these pulses to help the citizen science initiatives of learning about our heart coherence. But don't let it distract you from the deep connection with yourself and with the field. So play with it a little bit. Only people that are on the pulse and the people at the retreat are having access to this new sensor. So we're this kind of test group. And if something's not working with it, please share it in the surveys and just test it out and see how it is. I know, the first couple of times that I tried it with the global sensors and with the camera, you'd be surprised. You think you're in heart coherence and you're actually maybe still a little busy in your head. And as you start to notice that when you calm your breathing and you really focus on a positive emotion, where the consistency of your coherence begins to drop in. So the tools are helpful for us sometimes. So you can go to the App Store and you can download the Global Coherence app. That's what it's called. And play with it for a little longer. I think for the next month or so, we'll be able to use it. World Water Day is on the 22nd, and Unify is going to be doing a full day of live broadcast and a global meditation, and you can go to water@unify.org to register for that. Let's join together and let's infuse the waters of our planet, the waters that we drink and the waters all around us, with our love and care. There's a mastermind happening. I'm going to be joining that on April 4th at 4 o'clock. So I put a link in the chat if you'd like to join. They're doing something once a month like Unify. We're all starting to create some regular cadence of times together. And I really want to invite you to check out the Islands of Coherence member community. This is a sister project to the Pulse, where there is a dedicated social network for those of us that are, wanting to be connected with other like-hearted souls and to be in the practice of cultivating greater coherence in our lives and in our world. And we are going to be offering a 3-month virtual retreat starting in starting in May. And there's a free event on April 23rd. And over those 3 months, we're just going to explore 3 main things: the quality of our presence in the first month, our resonance with life, with the shift that's occurring on all scales, and our emergence. And imagine what would happen if a large group of people spent 3 months focusing on cultivating greater coherence in the heart of our daily lives and in the world. What would be the result of that? I'm excited about it. I want to spend 3 months really focusing on my coherence. So I hope you'll join us for this free event. There's a link in the chat for that. And if you feel inspired by what we're doing with the Pulse, 47 pulses. I can't believe we're at 47 pulses, 2 years in, consistently coming together for this purpose. It's a free event, and we invite donations from the community to support us in being able to continue that. So if you're inspired by what we're doing here, consider giving a gift to the Pulse. And our next pulse, which is happening next month, is going to be with Roland McCready from HeartMath, and they have come up with these new tree sensors. And so we're going to learn a little bit about trees and about the power of trees and what we can learn from them as we're exploring our coherence and the difference it makes in the world. So that's it for our announcements. I hope that you feel nourished by our time together today. Sister Jenna, thank you again for being such a beautiful guide for our meditation. Dr. Ivy, Claudia, Any closing words that you'd like to say? And then we'll go into this beautiful gift that we have from Shadea today. And you can stay with us for as long as you like as that video is playing.
Well, I want to tell everyone, don't give sorrow and don't take sorrow. You'll be okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Sister Jenna. Dr. Ivy?
I just wanted to find out what Sister Jenna does, because everybody, she literally just came back from India. And I think you must have gotten out of the car and went straight into the studio. That's how quick it is. And so it is gracious. Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for this beautiful opportunity. And I am deeply grateful.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I will just add, I am also deeply grateful to be in your company and to have had this experience. And Sister Jenna's comments about the villain reminded me of the saying, we get the leaders that we deserve. I think we get the villains that we deserve too. And they do play their role really well. And I am just so longing for when it is love instead of crisis that is the primary driver for evolution, for humanity and on this planet. So thank you all for the contributions that are being made as part of the Pulse.
Blessings, everyone. And stick around and enjoy this beautiful offering from Shadea. Do you want to say something about it, what we're going to be watching?
Well, what you're watching is a sonic digital art video that was created by Piper Dellums and yours truly, vocals and spoken word.
All right. Enjoy, everyone. Thank you. Bless you. See you again soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa.
Welcome to your sacred space. In your mind, deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bring your awareness to your inner mind. Become aware of your thoughts as they float by, one by one, becoming greater than what and who you are. Awareness. Intention. The mind is a part of your invisible body. time to prepare your mind and your body for perfect peace and manifest. Close your eyes very gently. Place your hands on your lap with your palms facing upward. Sit with your breath. Focus on the breath coming and going. Sit with the sound. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Focus on your breathing. Breathe in peace. Breathe out I am love. I am acceptance. Breathe out. See yourself floating effortlessly out in the universe. Breathe out relaxation. Floating back and forth, back and forth in your sacred space. Breathe out relaxation. You have come to a point in your life where you are preparing to move beyond any fear or blockages to your ability to manifest. your body to relax and focus on the areas in your life that you desire to manifest. Worries, fear, and stress are gone. You are feeling the power of your mind right now. Embrace the emotion of your intentions as if it has already happened. You are relaxed, confident, and at peace with yourself.
Blessings, everyone. Thank you, Shadea.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Blessing.